Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in, as usual. The other day I was on Tinder. This guy who I had started talking to, who I was really interested in getting to know and meeting, he basically like ghosted me. Like he left me hanging, he stopped responding. And I was annoyed for like a good 30 seconds. And then I was like, you know what? It's just not the right fit. If this guy can't even be responsive, like this would always be an issue, right? First impressions matter. And if somebody's already like this now, imagine if you actually connected beyond this. This is somebody who's probably flaky and all that stuff. And then I was like, all right, not meant to be, whatever. Shortly after I deleted Tinder because I was just like, I don't feel like swiping away. I don't feel like dealing with the headaches, whatever. Deleted it. And then I had this moment where I thought, wow, this exact kind of situation with a guy ghosting, a guy disappearing, somebody sending mixed signals, it used to really bother me. And it used to make me very insecure because I would think, did I do something? Did I say the wrong thing? Like, why was somebody interested before and now they're not interested? And then I would get paranoid. Am I not attractive enough? Like my mind would go down the rabbit hole. Especially I would say in my mid 20s, when I started getting on these apps, on Grindr, Tinder, Bumble, and so on. And so thinking about this specific story from a few days ago with this guy, I was like, wow, I've come such a long way. Not saying I'm perfect with it and that I don't have moments of insecurity, but I was thinking, I have gotten to a place where I don't really put as much stock into this as I used to. And those of you who have been following this channel for a while, you know that I used to make way more dating videos, gay dating videos, and like, you know, shitty dates or shitty dating experiences. I feel like I've gotten to a point where I just don't care the way that I used to. And I remember having a roommate in my mid-20s back in New York City, and she was 32, so she was in her 30s. And I remember, you know, venting to her, telling her these woeful dating stories and dating app stories. And she would be like, I remember being where you are, but you're gonna see, you're gonna get to your 30s and none of this stuff will matter to you anymore. She was right. There's something, at least for me, and I guess for her, there's something about you get to your 30s and it's the same experience over and over. So I don't know what it is. Is it that you get desensitized and you realize like, okay, I've been through this before, it'll be fine. Like, it doesn't affect you the way it used to viscerally affect you. Like, I remember the first time on one of these apps I got ghosted, or like on Grindr when somebody will block you out of nowhere and you're like, we were just having a great conversation. I guess I've gotten to the point, and I wonder if it's totally healthy actually, because is it also just being more jaded, that, or like numb almost, that you're not as reactive emotionally to it as you used to be. But I think overall it's a good thing that these sort of scenarios don't affect me as much as they used to. And I think it's also a matter of like, you become more confident in who you are and you realize that you haven't done anything wrong and that there's nothing wrong with you. There are all kinds of people out there who like, you don't know what they are thinking and what their issue is, and it could be a million different things. One of my favorite books is The 4 Agreements. I highly recommend it. Actually, I wonder if I've done a book review on here of that book, but it's kind of like a spiritual self-help book, and one of the 4 agreements is don't make assumptions. Like, don't even assume why somebody said what they said or didn't say, or stop responding or flaked, or this applies to work, this applies to family, friendship, romance. And I find that life gets so much easier when you don't obsess over these details of like, what happened with that guy and why did that happen? And the irony is, the less I seem to care and the less like stock I put into these experiences, the more guys in general I seem to be attracting than ever. So that kind of like long-term thinking too of like, there's plenty of fish in the sea, there will be another. I didn't used to have that in my 20s, and I don't know where that like more fatalistic mindset came from. I think it's part of the gay experience that we're a minority within the world, so it's like you're more likely to feel like there aren't as many options. So when something doesn't work out, you're like, crap, like I might never meet somebody like this again. Or I used to really have that feeling. And I guess that's what's great about life experience and getting older. You realize there really is always somebody else. And that applies to everything, even friendship. Like I've had friendships that have ended in the past where I missed the friend because I missed this thing we had in common, this show that we both really liked, or I don't know, this common interest. And then in life you realize you will meet somebody else who has that same interest and who has this same experience as you, this shared experience. I guess what this points to is that in life, like it becomes a theme as you get older to let go as much as possible, to let go of expectations, regrets, let go of what you thought should have been or could have been, and then life just gets easier and you don't dwell on these details as much. And as somebody who used to dwell a lot more, and again, I'm not perfect with it, I still have my moments, but overall, I obsess over these details so much less than I used to. And there's power in that. There's power in not being as reactive to these experiences. Anyway, I'm sounding off. I feel like this is a therapy session, but curious what you guys think about this. For those of you who are, I guess, in their 30s and maybe started watching my channel when you were in your 20s as well, or just in general, do you feel like if you've made it to your 30s, do you feel like there is a shift from young adulthood to now this point where there's a clear difference in how much stock you put into this, or is it still something you struggle with? Let me know in the comments.